Hi guys.
Hello and welcome back to another installment of Amaya's Focus.
Welcome guys. So if you could please tell us your name and also the city that you are connecting from, that would be great. Maybe we can introduce ourselves a little bit. I know we have students from all over Italy joining. So my name is Chago. Maybe you can see that under my webcam, but if you cannot, here you go. I am from Brazil originally, though I have also partly grown up in the States, in California in particular. And I'll let Michelle introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Michelle. I'm one of the teachers at Milano Meravigli and I'm from Pakistan. Tiago and I have been teaching together for about 2 years now, roughly.
Yeah.
Um, okay,
And
let's
so, how
get
are you
started.
doing, Michelle? It's been, what, 3 weeks now that we're inside the house. How are you doing? Hi,
I'm
guys.
good. Hey Maria, Annalisa. I'm doing good and not too bad. I don't mind staying at home. So I'm okay. I can work from home. I step outside occasionally to go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, it's
What
been the
about you?
same here as well. See, I also really like being at home usually. Though I have to say now that it's almost the fourth week, I really need some time outside as well. Of course, it's limited, but as you said, sometimes going to the supermarket can be, a nice opportunity just to kind of breathe some different air, I suppose. So,
Yeah,
all right, hi guys. So, a couple people from Milan. We have Maria from Salerno, Chiara from Trieste. Welcome, guys. Hi.
okay, let's get started at the market. Okay, so this is a question that we often get, right? The difference between a market and a shop, right? Hi, Gian Piero from Genoa, and Friolia says hi as well.
Oh,
So,
great.
what do you think, Tiago? What is the difference between a shop and a market?
A shop at a market. The way I think about it, a shop tends to be quite specific. They sell very specific things, so you can go. I don't know. For example, you can go to a shop to buy jewelry. You can buy clothes. Whereas a market, you tend to find many different categories, especially food, as Annalisa also just said. Yeah, market is usually for food, and then of course we also have supermarkets, which have even more stuff, not just food.
Right, and an example of a supermarket would be Esselunga or Carrefour, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and the markets that we usually see in Milan, the street markets.
Ah, yes, there are also
So,
street markets. Not street markets.
right, those are considered markets as well. And in those markets, you get clothes, sometimes shoes, lots of food.
Exactly. It's also quite common nowadays to refer to them. I don't know if it's only in the States, but the farmers market, where you buy, especially, yeah, fresh vegetables and fruit. In English, we call those produce as well. So those are pretty common. I actually heard that until yesterday, all of the street markets in Milan were still open, and so a lot of people were very close to each other at those markets. They decided to close them. I think it was yesterday they made this decision.
It's true. I live in Porto Romano, and there's a market every Friday. And there was one last Friday, and I was really surprised. It didn't make sense to me. That
Yeah,
was the time
exactly.
to
I saw
shop.
a photo today in one of the newspapers, and yeah, people were really close to one another. Definitely less than 1 meter, which was quite concerning. But it's nice to know that they are now closed for the rest of the month.
Yeah, that's good news. Guys, why don't you write to us and tell us about your experiences with markets, what kind of markets you go to, what you buy at them. Write to us in the comments and let us know.
Yes, and tell us also what is your favorite supermarket? I know in Milan, Esselunga is like beloved. Everyone talks, as they say, a lot of good things about Esselunga. I like it as well. I don't see it as being anything that special, honestly, but I do think they have a good selection of products. So I'm curious, what is your favorite supermarket, guys?
I don't have a favorite supermarket. I prefer street markets, because you have the organic food and the
Mhm.
organic fruits. How about you?
Now, I usually go to Esselunga actually, just because it is the closest one to my house,
Hmm.
and I can find everything. On Wednesdays, there is also a farmer's market near my house that I sometimes go to. But I haven't been in a long time. It's quite nice as well because in street markets, you can usually bargain if you buy. Let's put this down here to you guys. To bargain means to agree on the price. So if you're buying a lot of things, sometimes you get a discount, which you don't, of course, at other supermarkets. So we have some answers. My favorite supermarket is Esselunga too, because it is very big. Yes. But Fiorella, do you think it's too big? Sometimes I get confused at Esselunga. It's too much. Uh, we have MD or Lidl. That's another good one. It's also close to
Mm.
my house. And I take my shopping in U2 Market. Nice job, Annalisa. If we could, just a small correction, instead of I take my shopping, you can say I do my shopping. I do my shopping in the U2 Market. And do you want to explain bargain, Michelle, to Magda? She has a question. Ah, perfect. You
Perfect.
already have it. Wonderful.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
a
this
typo
is
there.
to agree on the price. So I don't know. The vendor might say that's 10 euros, and I say, oh come on, I bought so many things. Let's do 8 euros, and then maybe in the end it's 9. So you bargain.
Do you bargain at the street markets?
I definitely don't. I'm very bad at bargaining. I just accept it. Do you, Michelle?
No, no, I don't think my Italian is good enough. But if you're really nice, because Italians are generally really sweet,
Uh-huh.
they kind of offer you a discount anyways if you're buying a lot, because I
Yeah.
tend to buy for the week.
Ah, good, good.
Uh,
Let's see. We have
Kiara,
a few. My favorite market is the Lawson in Japan. I love his products, but unfortunately, I don't live in Japan. Ooh, Lawson. No, I've never heard of that. But great. I know. Yeah, I imagine Japanese supermarkets as being very colorful. As you, I don't know. I don't know. It's a stereotype. That's how I imagine them. And
I imagine them to have everything known to mankind.
yeah. But I also hear that in Japan, fruit is quite expensive.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know why though.
I especially think
Um,
I heard that watermelon in particular is, in fact, it's people usually give fruit as presents because it's so pricey. Yeah.
John Piero says that his favorite supermarket is Ipercoop. It's really good. I agree. I've been to Ipercoop a couple of times and it's pretty solid.
Hmm. Great.
Okay, so now that we know what markets are, let's take this one step further. In this focused activity, how to ask for things at the market, Countable and uncountable nouns. Discuss different types of markets. So before we go into this, let's talk about countable and uncountable nouns. The first question is, what are countable and uncountable nouns? A countable noun is a noun that you can count. For example, your phone, fruits. Great
You have a
example.
number. I'm like ready. I got all the objects here. So yes, we have, for example, 2 apples. So you can count them. Uh-huh.
Kiara says at the small markets, there are many different strange things. Um, okay,
The ones
Tiago,
in
would you like to
Japan.
take that? Yeah.
Ah, cool. Yeah. As well, they are many different strange things. And a good job, Chiara, also using many. That's one of the things we will be talking about. I would just, if I could make one correction, I would say there are many, but really nicely done. There are many. That's exactly
Fantastic.
what we'll be discussing today with the countable and uncountable. Okay, thanks for participating. Good example, Chiara.
Okay, and uncountable nouns are nouns that you cannot count. For example, liquids, water, milk, oil. It all comes under this category. Also included are items too small to count.
Mhm.
Example, rice. Fantastic, Fiorilla, you're absolutely right.
Yes,
Rice, sugar, wine,
wine,
fantastic work.
milk, beer. Absolutely, yes.
Great job, guys.
Yeah, and some of these, of course, if we're talking about liquids, I mean, a liquid I cannot count, right? I could count maybe with a certain, like a quantity, you know, I can say liters or maybe a bottle. Though for some things, for example, beer or coffee, because they are so common, sometimes we do use them in a countable way. For example, if I go to a cafe and I say, I'd like 2 coffees, especially in Italy, because it's such a standard thing to order, they understand that what you were actually saying is a cup, 2 cups of coffee. Or you can ask them, oh, are you going to the kitchen? Can you grab me 2 beers? But in reality, we're saying 2 bottles of beer. Yeah, Fiorella, a liter of milk. Fantastic. Yeah, good.
Broccoli, John
Broccoli.
Farrow points to. Okay, so what do you think, guys? Is broccoli countable or uncountable? Because this one gets a little tricky. Let us know in the comments, and as we move through the lesson, we'll find out together.
Yes.
That's a good point. 2 coffees, 2 beers.
Yeah, so
Okay,
technically it's incorrect, let's say, but it's very common. So you can absolutely say that, not a problem.
right. So we use it colloquially.
Yes.
Okay, so going to the food market. The first question, with who? So this is an incomplete question.
Nice job, Fiorella. Head of broccoli. Yes.
That's absolutely
Nicely
right.
done. Very good.
Okay, so we have a prompt here. Let's try to build this question. Guys, if you know what the correct question is, it's incomplete. You only have 2 words here. We need to add a couple of words, change the order. Can you guess the right question? With who?
Exactly. And for those of you who remember, an easy way to remember how to ask questions in English is to use the quasi form. So we put the question, auxiliary, subject, and infinitive if you have a verb. So for instance, I can ask Michelle, where do you live? So where do you live? So we can use the same form, the quasi, for the questions on the screen. Fiorella has an example. Who do you go to the market with? Wonderful.
Fantastic work,
Wonderful.
Fiorella.
Yeah.
Just one correction. We would say, who do you go to the market with?
The market, yes.
Don't forget to put that article, but fantastic work putting the preposition at the end of the question. So in English, whenever we form a question, we put the preposition right at the end of the question. But if you are writing a phrase, a sentence, you need to put the preposition somewhere in the middle, okay? Next question, when? As you guys type that question in, I'm going to ask Tiago. Tiago, who do you go to the market with?
It depends. Now, in these days, I usually go to the market by myself. So by myself
Ooh.
means alone, to avoid having too many people in the supermarket. But sometimes I go with my flatmate. Flatmate is
Flatmate.
the person that lives with me in the flat, in my apartment. We often cook together, so we go to the supermarket to buy what we need together as well. What about you, Michelle? Who do you usually go to the market with?
I usually go by myself because of the hours we teach. So it's out of necessity.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So yeah, we have a
Okay.
couple more questions. So we have Fiorella and also Maria Giuseppa, who, when do you go to, here we just have to remember to, okay? When do you go to the market? So we need both to and the, but nicely done.
Okay.
What
Great work,
do
guys.
you buy at the market? Wonderful, guys.
Fantastic work, guys. You're nailing it all. What do you guys buy at the market? Why don't you write to us and tell us?
Mm-hmm.
What do you usually buy at the market, Tiago?
So I buy everything at the market really, because as I said before, I don't go to the street market very often. So when I go to Esselunga, I buy, all the fresh produce, so fruits and vegetables, and then the essentials, of course, pasta. What else? Like different types of like soy milk and yogurt and bread, etc. And what I also like to do, I live in an area of Milan with many small shops, small ethnic shops. And I really like it because I can find different products that at Esselunga, for example, are quite expensive. For instance, soy sauce is really expensive at Esselunga, but if you go
It
to a
is.
Chinese shop, you pay a lot less for that. Let's see, Fiorella has a question. So, dairy, good word, wow.
Wow, Fiorella, that's a really good word.
Dairy products. So dairy, does anyone know what dairy means? Fiorella, if you could actually tell us, that would be great. Dairy products.
Okay, and Maria Giuseppe says, where do you go to the market? Okay,
Yep.
perfect. And Annalisa says, how often do you go to the market?
Wonderful.
Good work, guys. I go to the market about twice a week. Once to the street market and once to Esselunga. How about you, Tiago?
Oh, you are so organized. See, I am very kind of impulsive, I guess, and so like I go almost every day because then I just decide, okay, today I want to eat this, so I am missing this and this, so I go almost every day, honestly, which sometimes can be really annoying. In fact, again, in these last couple of weeks, I'm trying to avoid going so much. So I plan ahead twice a week. That's very good. So do you usually plan your meals before, or?
I usually eat more or less of the same, to be honest.
I see. Okay.
So I know what I usually like to eat in the morning. It's usually a choice of between three, four things, and the same for
Uh-huh.
lunch and dinner. Okay, Kiara says, is the dairy where I buy the milk? That's a good question.
That's
Fantastic.
basically, yeah, right. I mean, dairy is actually you can say the product itself. For example, milk is a dairy product. Yogurt is a dairy product. Cheese. So any product that comes from milk essentially is dairy. So yeah.
Right. Have you ever seen a dairy?
What's that? Sorry,
Because
Michelle?
so in my country, dairy also refers to the place where they sell the milk products.
Ah, really?
Right, because
Ah.
everything is super fresh, like the cows outside.
Uh-huh.
So they milk the cow and they process the milk in a specific place, and it's made of stone to keep it cool,
Uh-huh.
and that place is also called a dairy.
Ah, great. So what Chiara said is absolutely correct then. Wonderful.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Maria has I usually go to the market once a week on Monday, and I buy fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Ah, that one is a really interesting countable and uncountable example.
Yeah,
Uh, English has a lot of exceptions, and it doesn't always make sense. So
no, it doesn't.
vegetables is countable. Fruit is uncountable. Now, if I'm talking about apples, countable. But fruit, uncountable, but not vegetables. So yeah, it's a little crazy. So it's a fruit by fruit and vegetables.
Yep, just like Tiago says, when you say the word fruit, remember the I is silent. You don't want to pronounce the I, you want to pronounce it like this. Fruit.
Yeah. I remember there was a teacher from before. He always gave this example. So Tom Cruise drinks fruit juice. So you get the three
Oh,
words: cruise, fruit, juice. So we don't pronounce the I. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, the same with the word juice. Absolutely. We
Yeah.
don't pronounce the I in the word juice as well. In fact, the rule is when you have an I after a U, you usually don't pronounce the I. It's treated silently, usually. Okay, next we have how many different types of markets can you think of?
Yeah, so we talked
So we
about a couple examples before. We said what supermarket. We talked about a street market. Yeah, if you guys know any others? LOL. I love that, Yara.
one of my favorite markets is the antique market,
Ah,
right? We have one in Milan along the Navili, and I've never actually bought anything from there, but it's a lovely place to take a stroll down, maybe grab something to eat.
yeah, you find some very interesting stuff for sure. We have a few more markets here. So we have a mall. Nice job.
Mm.
A mall or a shopping center. Yeah, it's a kind of market, definitely. Grocery store, fantastic. In fact, I would say that in American English, grocery store is more common than supermarket. Even though I guess a supermarket is a better representation of a big store, but people still say grocery store. Yeah, to go to the grocery store.
Definitely. I just had a class with Liam, and he mentioned that grocery store is very American. They don't really use that in the UK.
Yeah, because of the idea, I think originally groceries, right? A grocer, it refers to a small shop actually. So I think it's just habit. It just kind of stayed that way. Well, we have some other great examples here. The mini
Mm-hmm.
market works wonderfully. A Christmas market, yes, very good, guys.
That's a good one.
And
Hey,
in the
Raphael.
in my countryside, there are only mini markets because it's a little country. Ah, not a little country. Careful there, because countries like Italy or France, etc. What do
Mm-hmm.
we call, guys? We have a city or smaller than a city. What do we call that? While you
We
guys
call
write,
that.
what
Oh,
is it?
that's a good one, Pima. The stock market.
Stock market.
Absolutely.
Stock markets, for example, Wall Street in New York. or Piazza Affari in Milan. That's where we
Those are
have
really
the
good examples.
stock market. Yeah, wonderful, guys.
Okay, so a city is a place like Milan, which is large, has a lot of people, say about 100,000 at least. And then below that, you have a place which has fewer citizens, and that place is called a town.
Exactly.
And then you have something that's even smaller than that, where you have fewer inhabitants. Not you don't have any public transport usually. It's isolated sometimes, and these places are called villages.
Exactly.
Okay, Fiorella says flower market.
Wonderful. The flower market. Have you ever been to a flower market, Michelle?
I have. When I lived in London, there used to be a flower market there. It was really beautiful.
Great. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to one. I've like walked past it. I remember, especially in Amsterdam, because they have so many flowers there. I've walked past it, but I haven't been inside actually. Fiorella has a great question. In English, can you also say black market? Absolutely,
Ooh.
yes. We can talk about the black market where, yeah, things are not regulated. So it can be, black market can be for illegal things. So for example, drugs, right? That would be in the black market, but it can also be for legal things, but that are kind of sold. I guess that would be the gray market though, huh? So I guess black market is for illegal things, and the gray market is when you sell things that are legal, but through different channels, I guess. So we have
But
both of them.
true. But what about if you were to sell hand sanitizers at a really high price,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
That would be
That's just
that would be
criminal.
right. So if it's criminal, it's on the black market.
Sure. Exactly. And Raffaele, you're now going to the supermarket with your sister. All right, great.
Stay safe, my friend. Stay safe.
Yes, I hope you're not driving while you're writing this.
Okay, I hope not. Okay, so here we have a bunch of categories and some items to go with it. First up, we have meat. Now, meat is an interesting one, right? Because under this category, you have several different kinds of meat. For example, you have beef, which comes from the cow. You have mutton, which comes from either goats or sheep. And you have pork that comes from pigs. And you have, hello? Sorry, my audio died out. And you have chicken that comes from chicken.
Exactly, and it's a good example as well with chicken, especially because see, if you're talking about the meat, we say it's uncountable, but if you're talking about the animal, then it's countable.
That's an important distinction, right? So that applies to chicken, and it also applies to fish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
Magda says steak. Yes, absolutely. Steak is meat.
Oh
Fantastic.
yeah, there's steak is meat. Also sausages.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And
And
there's also
beef.
a comment from Chiara that I had missed. So I would say Amsterdam has a lot of beautiful flower markets. Yes, exactly. A lot of beautiful flower markets. And I would just maybe put that in the plural, Chiara, because he's saying a lot of beautiful flower markets. Yes.
Okay, so let's start. So you guys said steak, potatoes, and beef. What about vegetables? Which items fall into the vegetable category? What's your favorite vegetable, Tiago? Do you have a favorite vegetable?
The favorite vegetable. Um, See, I actually really like broccoli, which I know a lot of people hate. It's like the stereotypical thing that everyone hates. I quite like it, but I like a lot of different vegetables, like zucchini, anything that like yeah, like pumpkin-ish. I really like. Um, yeah, I eat a lot of veggies, so I pretty much like all of them. What about you, Michelle? Do you have a favorite?
Um, I pretty much eat everything, but I do love tomatoes. Specifically, Italian cherry tomatoes.
Oh gosh, in the
I'm
south of
obsessed.
Italy, in Sicily,
Obsessed.
yeah, because that's the other thing. Tomato, is that a vegetable or a fruit? Because there's a little bit of a debate,
Mm.
right? And I've always heard that it was actually a fruit, which never made sense to me. But when I had a Sicilian tomato for the first time, it made sense because it was so sweet that it really felt like eating a fruit.
Well, our students have a bunch of answers, and they're all correct. Maria Giuseppe says vegetable, carrot, tomato. Absolutely. What else? Apart, Fiorella says carrot, potato, tomato.
Yes.
What else? You have the carrots, yes. You have the potatoes. You have the tomato, and yep, that's it. Let's move on to fruit. Maria Giuseppe says apples, peaches, and melon.
Melon,
Good
good.
work. And for drink, we have
Milk, maybe not beef, though maybe. I'm not gonna judge, but I would say yeah, orange juice and milk for sure.
okay, so definitely not beef because beef falls into the meat category, right?
Yes, yeah, beef is
And
from a cow.
right, and in the other category we have pasta. Let's fill these up. Rice, cheese, and that's it. Any questions, guys? Any confusion about why something belongs to a particular category? Let us know. Okay, moving on. Coming back to countable and uncountable nouns. Which nouns are countable and which are uncountable? So this is a good way to differentiate between them. Countable nouns have a plural. You can count them with numbers. Oh, Maria Giuseppe meant beer, not beef.
Ah, beer. There you go. Perfect. Beef is meat. That's right. That's right. Perfect.
Absolutely.
No, don't be sorry. You made us laugh. That's fantastic.
We love it when you guys interact with us. So please don't be afraid, don't feel shy, and don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, participate and yeah, do make mistakes, guys, because that's what we're here for. So don't be shy. Thank you for participating, everyone. Yeah. So go ahead, Michelle.
Right,
Sorry for.
no worries. And uncountable nouns cannot have plurals. For example, coffee, which is a liquid, and you can't count them. The same way you can't count rice or sugar or water.
Exactly.
Now that we have these basic definitions down, let's walk through these and figure out which one is countable and which one is uncountable.
Yes, we do have a little bit of a delay with the comments. So to save some time here, guys, you don't need to answer in the comments for this one. Just think about it in your own head if it's countable or uncountable, and then Michelle and I will just give you guys the answer. Okay? Let's see. Annalisa, she has lemon. Good. You're already answering. Good. So lemon countable, book countable, car, potato, house. Yeah, fantastic. Nice. Yeah, those are
Fantastic.
all
Lemon,
countable.
perfect. What about money, Tiago?
Yeah, so money is a funny one because you would imagine that it's countable, right? Because you definitely count money.
True.
But the thing is that in English, a lot of categories are considered uncountable. So money is a category. I cannot say one money, two monies, but I can count specific currencies. So euro or dollar, that yes, $1, $2, $3, but money, that's uncountable. Same for like furniture, or as we said, fruit, right? Fruit is a category, it's uncountable, but apples, specific, countable.
Fantastic. Okay, coming back to this. Water, uncountable. Rice, uncountable. Potatoes, countable. Wine, liquid, uncountable. Tea, liquid, uncountable. Meat. Now, meat is also uncountable. Remember what Tiago said earlier? He said that the meat we use to cook is usually uncountable. Therefore, the chicken you are cooking with is uncountable, but the animal itself is countable.
Like fish as well, now thinking about it, right? The meat is
Mhm.
uncountable, but the animal is countable, but not plural, funny enough. The animal, we say
True.
3 fish. So that's just another exception. But yeah,
Okay, so here we have
good,
house,
Fred.
countable, and sugar, as we discussed, is uncountable. You guys are doing great at figuring this out. Okay, so this is quantifiers. How much or how many? We use how many with countable nouns and how much with uncountable nouns. What's important to remember that we usually use much and many for questions and for negative phrases. So when you say there are so many people here, it's usually not considered positive. Or when there are too many people here, it's usually not considered positive. Okay, so let's start with pasta. As we've discussed before, pasta is uncountable. Therefore, we would say how much pasta. If you guys want to write to us and let us know. Okay, what do you think about apples, Tiago? Apples countable or uncountable?
So see, I can definitely count them, right? So, and
Mm-hmm.
a good indication is also if you see something in the plural, right? If you have the S there, apples, so definitely countable. So it would say many for that one. How many apples do you have at home, for instance?
Okay, next up, sausages. So we follow the same logic. Remember, it's a plural, sausage singular, sausages plural. So how many sausages
Yes.
would
Yeah. And
you like
here,
for breakfast?
I would also say, because before we mentioned that if it's meat, it's usually uncountable. Now, sausage is an exception because, you know, we have individual parts to the sausage, so we can actually divide it and I can count the sausage links. Yeah, so that's why we would say many. How many sausages?
True, because when you if you're having sausages for breakfast, you say I'm having one sausage, I'm having two sausages. Annalisa,
Exactly, yeah. Really good question.
good question.
If they can ask, maybe this is a good question if, you know, someone asks you, Annalisa, could you please go to the supermarket and buy some sausages? And you say, yes, how many sausages do I buy? Really good question as well, following the quasi form that we mentioned before. Excellent. We got milk, which would be definitely much. Thanks, Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Tomatoes, many, because I can count and it's a plural. Sure, many apples, much cheese, very good. Also much cheese, many peaches, much rice because it's too small to count, and much milk because it's a liquid. Very nicely done, guys. Excellent.
Fantastic. You guys have nailed this. Okay, so suppose you need to go to the supermarket. You need to know how to converse, right? Maybe not the supermarket, but the grocery store, somewhere smaller where you have to converse with the person, with someone to help you out. So these are phrases between a customer and the person behind the counter. Okay, that's a good one. Behind the counter. Right? So when we use the phrase behind the counter, we are referring to the place where you pay your where you paid for your goods. And behind the counter is the person who is taking your money and giving you the receipt.
Yes, a big cultural difference, for example, is when you're drinking coffee. At least in the States, most people, when they drink coffee, they drink sitting down at the table, or they drink it while walking to go. But in Italy, it's common to consume coffee on the counter. So you order the coffee, they put it in front of you, and then in 2 seconds, you're finished. That's on the counter. And the person would be behind the counter. That's the staff member. Let's see, Maria, she has a question. I'd. Yes, I'd would be I would. I would. So I guess that's the answer there. I'd like some apples. Yes, I would like some apples. But it's, yeah, when you're talking English, we do contract a lot of these forms. So I'd like, it's a lot more common. Good.
Okay, so but the one thing I have to say that usually when you go to buy apples, you don't buy them by number. You don't buy them in number. You buy them by weight, right? So this is just for purposes of illustration. But so when you go to the market, make sure you say how much in terms of quantity, in terms of weight, and not in terms of number. Okay. Here we have another one. This person would like to buy cheese, and it's very simple. Do you guys think you know the answer to this? Do you like cheese, Tiago?
Now I do like cheese, but I don't eat cheese. So I've been vegan for about a year now. So I don't really eat it. I mean, I do eat some vegan cheeses, I guess. But not too much. They're not fantastic, if I can be honest. So it's just better to have other things instead. And what about you? Do you eat a lot of cheese?
I do. I love cheese. Cheese is a separate food group for me.
Uh-huh.
I do love cheese, but I have tried some really good vegan cheeses as well. Vegan cheese as well.
Yeah. I feel
I've
like the
tried.
ones that are like for like hamburgers, for example. So the slices, they are
Right.
usually better. But I still have to have like a good, like something that you can actually cut into pieces. So where did you have them, Michelle? I'm curious.
Actually, back in Pakistan, my friend's mom makes cashew cheese.
Ah, that's a good word. Yeah, cashew. It's a nut.
So which nut is the cashew?
Oh yeah, that's a funny one to explain, huh? So it's a little bit bent.
It's like a half moon, pale
Yeah.
white in color. Right, so it's a half moon, it's pale white in color. It's usually eaten raw, and it has a naturally sweet taste,
Mm-hmm.
but it is often added in food, especially Asian cuisines. You find cashews in there, and you can buy it in the supermarket salted as well, but
Mm-hmm.
they're a bit more expensive than almonds.
Yeah. Great.
Okay,
Yeah, so maybe we'll do the conversation. So guys, you can just, again, answer it. You can just think about it, and Michelle and I can play out the conversation. So I am behind the counter. So a client approaches and I say, "Good morning. How can I help you?"
And I'm the client. I would say, I'd like some cheese, please.
Okay. How much cheese?
200 grams, please.
Okay. Here you are, 200 grams of cheese. Do you want anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you.
That's it. Yeah, good expression there is here you are. Here you are, or you can also say here you go. So that's if you're giving something to someone, it's just an expression. Say, here you are, here you go. As you give it to them, it's common to say this.
Okay, so here we have a choice of 4 markets. So
We
as
even
we
have the black market
review,
that was asked about before.
absolutely. So as we review our material, let's pick one. And as we go through it, we can just review everything we've gone through today. Right? Which market would you like to delve into?
Let's have a look at, shall we look at the antique market? You said you quite like visiting them. Let's have a look at what they have there.
Okay, they ask, what can you buy at an antique market? So obviously, antiques. So an antique is something that is very, very old. So very old does not mean 10 years, 15 years. It definitely means something that's at least 50 years old, at least. Um, Preferably much, much older than that. Is there an antique market in your city? Tiago and I just spoke about it. There is an antique market in our city. Let us know if there's one in yours. And do you like shopping at the antique market? Yes, I do. Tiago, have you visited the antique market?
I have now see the one that I like to go to here in Milan is the East Market. Have you been to
Mm,
that one?
yes, the Eastern
Yeah,
market.
it's really nice. I think it's only once a month,
Mhm.
once or twice a month. It's in the Lambrate area. It's quite nice. It's also like indoors, and so you can go in the winter. And then on the outside, they have a big courtyard with food trucks, and you can really find not only antiques because you also find some new things, but it's a nice combination of jewelry, clothing, objects maybe for your house, some pieces of furniture. Yeah, so I do like that one quite a lot. And also the one in Navili that you mentioned, it's quite nice too.
But I do agree. I think the East End market is actually nicer because you can spend the whole day there, and it's just a fun thing to do. Whereas the market in Navili, by Navili, it's a bit of an effort.
Yeah, but for I don't know where you live, but for me, it's going to Navili. It's takes me almost an hour to go there, but I'm
Wow.
actually quite close to Lambrate, and
Right.
so I tend to go there instead.
Okay, so shall we role play an antique market? You could be the seller, and I could be the customer.
Sure,
And okay,
let's do it. Okay, hi, good afternoon. How can I help you?
hi, good afternoon. I'd like to see that antique watch, please.
Oh, of course. Which one would you like to see?
How many watches do you have?
Now we have many watches. Here they are. As you can see, we have many, many watches. Here, you can take one if you want to see it better.
Okay, thank you. How much is this for?
This one specifically, that is a very rare watch. So it is 320 euros. It's a unique piece. But we
Wow.
also have some cheaper watches if you're interested.
Yes, please. This is expensive.
Yes, well, we have this one, which is similar to the one that you were interested in, and it's a little bit cheaper. This one is only 80 euros.
Okay, this is perfect. Thank you. May I pay you now?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to pay with cash or by credit card?
By card, please.
Okay, absolutely. Here you go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you and have a nice day.
You too.
Great.
Okay, guys, I hope you followed along and noticed the use of many and much. Remember, many for uncountable, many for countable, and much for uncountable. Um, Anything you'd like to add, Caesar?
Let's see, we have a few questions here. Let's see, Maria
Mm-hmm.
did ask, in the antique market, can I buy old objects? Exactly. So you buy very old objects. Make sure you put that plural there. And in my city, there aren't antique markets. Oh, that's too bad. They're quite fun. And I never buy things, yeah, in the antique market, yeah, as a result, because you don't have any. Well, once this period is over, we can definitely recommend some of the antique markets in Milan. I don't remember, Maria, where you're writing to us from. But anyway, a lot of Italian cities have them. But if you're in Milan, we have Eastern Market, we have the Navigli Market. I'm sure you enjoy them.
And just remember, countable nouns are those nouns which you can count. They have a plural. And uncountable nouns are those nouns which you cannot count and they do not have a plural. And the good examples are rice and water.
Exactly.
Okay, with that, guys, unfortunately, our time has come to an end. We hope to see you soon. This is us signing out. Tiago, any
All
last
right.
words?
That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your participation. And just remember that we have these webinars at every hour. Okay, so if you'd like to follow more than one, you're welcome to do so. Just go to the YouTube page, and there should be another one starting in about 10 minutes. And just before we leave you guys, you have one last question. You can use many for positive sentences or only a lot? No, you can use many for affirmative. I guess that's the question. As Michelle said before, many can sometimes have a bit of a negative connotation. So you can say, I don't like that street market because there are always many people. So see, it's kind of a bad thing. Not necessarily, but usually. Whereas a lot of is a bit more general. So I think it is more common in affirmative sentences.
And usually when you that's a typo, sorry. So usually when you want to say something positive, we try to say so many, and that usually conveys a positive meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that last one was a typo. I meant to write positive.
Pause. And then too many would be kind of the negative one.
Yeah.
Too many or too much, of course. And it's like more negative. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, thanks again, and have a lovely evening and a nice weekend as well, if we don't see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.